certainly miss her already. At this point, we're going to have some special tributes from family, and I'm inviting David and Daniel Mink up. I don't know if you're coming up together or one after another. Either way, come on up and share. You can go one after another or whatever. No, go one after another.
So I just wanted to say a few things about some of the memories of my mom. Not all of us are able to, visit the home where we grew up, and I was really blessed to have just a wonderful childhood, and just going slowly through that house, just the memories just kind of flood back. One of my, I don't know if it's my favorite memory of this guy. He was about 4 years old, and there's this hallway about this wide to the back bedrooms. And he was able to shinny up to the top of this entryway. He's got his head touching the ceiling, and he says, "Look, Mom!" And she took a picture of that. He's butt naked. So later on, I don't care how old I get, I'll never not see that. But eventually Mom got a Sharpie and gave him a pair of shorts or something. Right next to that was my dad's recliner, and just the memories there. That's where we all learned how to play chess, and sat there and watched Archie Bunker. And he'd have the newspaper. He got home from work, he'd have the newspaper, and he'd have all kinds of little inscriptions and jokes and things that he would do. Just memories. Just learned a lot about that. And Mom, she was really passionate about a lot of things. I remember she made a tunnel we had like 4 or 5 feet of snow one year. I don't know what year that was. And she helped us make a tunnel from the front porch to the bus stop out of the far corner. And she had little holes so we didn't suffocate in there, but just crazy. And then she made an igloo for us, which she got some kind of a big box, and she made this. She packed the snow down real well, and it was like a 6 foot tall, to accommodate 5 or 6 people. I knocked a hole in the top, and we actually put a little campfire in there. That lasted long after the snow was gone. She put water on it so it froze, and long after the snow was gone, that igloo was still there. We had a lot of wonderful times exploring the neighborhood. We had woods that would go for miles all around the house. But Mom had this one thing. Whenever it was dinner time, she had a really great whistle. She could, 2-3 blocks away, easy, you could hear this thing. And she taught it to me, and I taught it to Nicole. Nicole, do me a favor, give me a whistle. A good one for Mom. That's a little tiny. One time she did, thank you, Nicole. One time she, for Halloween, we were pretty young, and she wanted to make sure she went around with us, I guess. So she made a costume for herself. I hope somebody's got a picture of this. I'd love to see it again. But she made herself, and this is probably not appropriate today, but she made a giant, out of a metal kind of a wiring system and cray paper, she made a giant Aunt Jemima bottle that she walked around in. It was like 8 foot tall. Remember that? Oh my gosh. We probably played hundreds, maybe 1,000 card games, this Crummy Rummy that the pastor was mentioning earlier. And just the nice thing about Crummy Rummy is it's not so much the cards, it's the camaraderie, the conversations that you have with people that you haven't seen in a long time. So that was just a family tradition that's really carried on. I hear stories about people playing it overseas now, and just all over the place. If there was ever an issue with anybody playing a card game, we'd call Mom, because she was the rules, right? That was it. So if there was a dispute, she'd settle it. We did a lot of traveling together, Mount Vernon and Washington, D.C. We'd go see Megan and Mark and Uncle Ed and Aunt Meg and, wherever they were, Sewickley or Coriopolis or just all those wonderful places. And we'd go to Washington, D.C. and see Aunt Lily and Uncle Carl and all the kids. And we'd do Niagara Falls, and she made sure we got on the good ship Lollipop. One of the things that I'm kind of running on here, but I'll be done in a couple minutes, Dan. Just relax. So we'd go roller skating. She made sure we were all good roller skaters. I actually worked at the rollercade, but I'm probably 12 or 13 years old, and she loved to do this dance called the flea hop. So she'd make me go out on the dance floor and dance this flea hop in front of all my friends, but I knew she loved it, and it didn't bother me at all. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun. Okay, later. I'd call my mom every day. Kind of like clockwork. I'd call her late morning, early afternoon, and we'd have just wonderful conversations. She always had time for me. She was normally on the phone with Aunt Lily, because they'd talk every day too, or Uncle Paul. And just a lot of great conversations. She would kind of cut me off when I tried to convert her to be a vegan. But that went over like a lead brick. But I still have an alarm that goes off on my phone. I can't turn it off. It goes off every evening at 7:45. It says, "Did you call your mother yet?" So it's just kind of, and it kind of gives me an opportunity. I think about her all the time anyway, just to think about, and just kind of the memories flood back. We went to Youngstown State University together. She was just beginning her master's degree for accounting, and she talked me into taking an accounting 101 class with her, and it was the most painful, terrible. If I was late for class, or if I didn't do my homework, I was in big trouble. You guys know my mom. I was in big trouble. So that was an interesting, fun time. The last thing I want to say is that when I decided to move to Texas from Youngstown, I'd loaded up my Ford LTD. Everything that I owned was in that car, and I remember her standing in the driveway just crying like a baby, just bawling. And she would do that for the first 5 years. I'd come home a couple times a year, and every time I left, she'd just start blubbering. And that's when you really know that there's unconditional love. I'm going to miss you, Mom. So, thank you.
Now we know why. We know why the younger brothers never follow the older brothers. Ditto. What can I say? Hey, tears of joy when you were leaving. Those weren't crying, Dave. So I came up. I'm seriously.